A local judge has set a hearing for next month after two attorneys filed a will for late Zappos founder and CEO Tony Hsieh. According to the filings, Hsieh executed a will in March of 2015 and entrusted it to a named executor, Pir Muhammad. Muhammad, however, suffered from progressive dementia and did not know that Hsieh had died. The will was recently discovered after Muhammad passed away. This new information comes after Hsieh's father and brother had represented the estate in probate court for the past 4 years. So, what happens now with Tony Hsieh's estate, and how could this ultimately apply to people in a similar situation? Joining us to talk about that is attorney Matthew Hoffmann from Battle-Born Injury Lawyers. Good to see you again, my friend. This is an unusual case because of how this all went down. I guess nobody knew Muhammad was in possession of the will.
It's kind of like the ultimate Tony Hsieh move. You know, he's always into the wow factor, and here he comes again. So, you know, when he died in late 2020, it was presumed he had no will. And in good faith, his father and his brother opened up the probate. The brother dropped out as an executor, and the father has been battling this for 4 years now, has a law firm on behalf of the estate. The estate spent over $5 million in fees, fighting creditor claims, what have you, always under the presumption that there was no will. And his estate was estimated to be around $840 million.
Wow.
Right? He sold Zappos in 2009, I think it was, to Amazon for $1.2 billion, and then does this will in 2015 apparently, and then dies in 2020. But it was left with this Mr. Muhammad, who nobody knows. Nobody knows who this is, but apparently it's not just a will, it is also a video that is a testimonial in case the will was ever damaged or lost, saying, this is my will, this is what I want. And the family of Mr. Muhammad find it, and they see that it named Muhammad as the executor. The co-executor was an attorney with the law firm McDonald Carano, and then a contingent executor, in case Muhammad couldn't do it, which he can't, was a lawyer with the law firm of Greenberg Traurig. So those two law firms come together, file something in court saying, hey, let's administer the will.
So it sounds like Tony Hsieh did dot the I's, cross the T's,
He did.
Took care of everything, but left that secret of who was actually in possession of that. So what happens now to all of the legal action that's been taken by the brother and the father to walk this thing through probate?
Yeah, you can't unwind what's been done, and they acted in good faith. But what's going to happen if this is deemed to be valid, which it certainly looks like it is now the two law firms will take over as executors and administer the will according to its terms. Where it gets interesting is on the family side. If there's no will in Nevada, and this is for everybody to understand, let's say you die and you have a spouse and two kids, traditional. Well, then all of your property, your community property, goes to the spouse, and then any separate property you own before marriage, personal injury lawsuit type, or inheritance money, a third goes to the spouse, 2/3 goes to the kids or the surviving members of the kids. When you die as an adult with no kids, no spouse, 100% goes to your parents. 100%. So imagine the parents, the father and mother here of Tony Hsieh, they were looking at potentially inheriting $800 million or more. My understanding from the terms of this will, they're getting $500,000 each. Big difference.
Big difference.
Big difference. And if you die with no children, no spouse, no parents, no siblings, it all goes to the state of Nevada and goes to the education fund, which apparently a lot of people haven't had that happen.
Now, what if that formula, very quickly, and I don't want to run out of time on this because it's complicated. What if that formula had already been used, and that money, those funds have been distributed to the parents, and now the will surfaces? Then what happens?
Then they would claw it back. They would be able to claw it back, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, they're lucky they found it when they did. Obviously, unfortunately, Mr. Muhammad died and he had Alzheimer's. He didn't even realize that Tony was gone. But now that the will's here, it's valid. They're going to have to honor its terms. The interesting part's going to be at the end of the will. If you take a will and you say so-and-so gets this, an entity gets this, and this charity gets this, but at the end you'll say, and the rest and residue of my estate goes to, and we don't know yet. What does it say in Tony Hsieh's will? If it says nothing, then the court will decide, and it would go to his parents and siblings most likely. But otherwise, I don't know. I don't know who he gave it to, because from what I saw of the little bits that were distributed, it's not even close to $800 million.
Wow, and this is an interesting case, but you can also extrapolate some lessons in your own lives about how to properly manage an estate and make sure that everything is.
And make sure it's known to your family of where it is.
So they can find it.
Yeah,
exactly.
So.
All right. If you have any legal questions that you'd like Matthew Hoffmann to answer, just send us an email, breaking down the law at news3lv.com. Matthew, always good to see you, and thank you for thank you for simply explaining what was really complicated at first.
Yeah, I did my best.
All right.